Howdy, my name is Joseph here with Contender Bicycles, and today we are joined by Cam Jones, Unbound 200 winner, reigning lifetime Grand Prix champion, and the most recent setter of the White Rim fastest known time, doing it in 5 hours and 23 minutes and some change. So what inspired you to go for the White Rim FKT?
Yeah, I first heard of the White Rim Trail just as like a cool backcountry adventure ride to do. People often do it over multiple days or just take the whole day to do it. As I started to look into like where it was, I remembered I'd heard about people doing it as a kind of a race on a few podcasts, and as I did more research, saw there was quite a rich history of top riders going back and forth, sort of trading top times. And yeah, the more time I've spent in America, I've realised how iconic a ride it is and how prestigious the record is for that loop. So yeah, I sort of started to think about when it would fit into my schedule, and on my way out to Sea Otter from the East Coast, I thought it'd be a cool side quest to do along the way.
Have you had any experience in southern Utah on roads like that?
No, I haven't ridden in Utah before. We went out there 2 days before the effort just to give us a sort of a weather window, and I had 2 chances to ride on the course, so I rode in sort of the first 45 minutes of each end, so I had a little feel for what it was like, and I knew how hard the climb was coming up at the end and the first main descent, so that was a valuable bit of experience. But the middle sort of 3.5 hours was ridden completely blind, so that was a bit of fun, kept things exciting.
How does your preparation change between riding for a race versus an FKT?
Yeah, I guess with an FKT it's just a time trial, it's you against the clock, and so you can pace it how you like. In a race, often the pacing's dictated by what attacks are going or what other people are doing, and so I think an FKT is actually a better kind of training ride or preparation for a race, because you can just keep a steady power and often go faster than if you were doing that as a race where people would be attacking and surging and doing those sort of high intensity efforts. The terrain certainly dictated that I did go sort of into the red every so often with the steep climbs, and as I was saying with my gearing, I had to go full gas at times just to stay on the bike. But yeah, I didn't really do anything differently in the training, just kept up my usual hours, and the few days leading into the race I took it a bit easier to freshen up to make sure I could put out the best effort possible.
So from your Strava, it looked like you were about 4 minutes behind Keegan going into the second half of it. How do you really overcome that deficit and get motivated to keep pushing harder to catch back up to him?
Yeah, it was certainly a sort of a mental struggle to know that you were behind, even having gone as hard as I could really for that first half. I was pretty good at staying optimistic and just trusting in my effort, and that the deficit I had was largely because of a headwind. I've been keeping track of the wind for that day for as long as soon as it came onto the long range forecast, and it looked like it was always going to be a headwind out and then tailwind back. So I was mentally prepared to be behind at times. I just knew I had to stay in touch by the halfway point, and then I'd had the advantage on the way home. But yeah, to be 4 minutes behind, it was certainly a lot to make up, and I had timing split. So every 10 kilometers, I had the time at which Keegan passed that point on his previous record. So that gave me something to think about and to keep my mind off the effort I was doing.
We hear that you were chatting with another Scott athlete about how to approach a White Rim FKT, what you need to do. Who was that, and what valuable advice did she give you?
Yeah, it's pretty cool that the women's FKT for the White Rim Trail was held by fellow Scott athlete Hannah Otto. She was another one of the inspirations for going and having a go at this attempt. And the day before, I gave her a call just to get some insights on how to go about it, if there's anything I should watch out for. The main questions were what to expect in that middle 3.5 hours that I hadn't seen before, and there was one spot near White Cracks about halfway through that she said is a piece of trail to take extra caution on, and that was well worth knowing, because there was a few sort of, bigger kind of ledges and line choices to watch out for. So that was super valuable. And yeah, just some thoughts about pacing and fuel and hydration, how to carry everything. So yeah, that was pretty cool to have some camaraderie between the Scott athletes, and cool that this bike now holds a male and female fastest times.
What makes this bike the best FKT bike for the White Rim and other sort of long endurance days?
Yeah, like while it's just a Jeep road, it's a very bumpy Jeep road, and it might as well be single track for what the bike's experiencing, what you're experiencing out there from the terrain. So full suspension was 100% the best thing, and especially for me riding it blind, having a bit more suspension like the 120 shock to eat up some of those big hits, and yeah, be able to run the suspension nice and supple to smoothen out the real bumpy rocky sections was awesome. And the speed that I was going on the way home with the tailwind, it was just a pleasure to ride this bike.
Is there anything that you would have wanted to do differently?
Yeah, like my lowest gear, the 3845, was a bit of a grind at times. I didn't have to get off. I managed to get over everything. Having one more lower gear could have been nice. So in the future, might look into possibility of combining the 945 and the 1051 cassettes just to give me another low gear. And if I did that, then I'd probably up to a 40-tooth chainring if we can get that to fit. But yeah, like I said in the bike check, I don't think I changed anything from when I arrived in Moab to when I did the effort. It was perfect setup from the start.
Are you listening to any music as you ride, or is it just completely you and nature?
No, I did carry my phone, not that it was really any use for safety reasons, but just to have music. So I had the headphones in and had some drum and bass going from the start. I think started off with a bit of Wilkinson, and then Chase and Status, Lee Matthews. I didn't put it on shuffle, so I only had those few artists in the order of the playlist, but it was good to keep me hyped throughout and yeah, keep the mind off the pain.
You had to give any advice to like younger athletes who are looking to get into endurance racing, White Rim FKTs, that sort of racing? Like, what would you tell them to help get them started?
Yeah, just like finding your own motivation for doing these big rides, and for me and for many people, it's just the adventure of it. Like go and sort of try and take on something that sort of scares you or challenges you, something that's long and is going to inevitably make you have to push in the end because it's so long, so hard. And just riding new places as well, like going and taking on one big loop where there's sort of no escape route. You got to once you start it, you got to finish it. There's no other ways out. Is a good way to make you push, and that's good training for races and FKT projects.
And last question, are you still living out of a U-Haul, or have you upgraded the modes of transportation?
Yeah, my first couple of North American trips, I was living out of a U-Haul most of the time. If you're doing like racing trips overseas on a budget, that's definitely the way to go. Like $19.99 a day, just like drive around the corner, park in the Walmart car park, pay for 4 miles, just live out of that. But no, I've certainly upgraded a bit. Got a Honda Odyssey van that I bought over here last year. Actually, last time I drove, I smoked a deer, so it's in not the greatest shape. But I've done a couple of nights living in that. But yeah, the longer I've spent over here, the more people you meet, and there's often places to stay. Thanks, Auntie.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions on Cam's bike, on the White Rim FKT, feel free to hit us up. Come visit us in store. If you want to build something exactly like this, let us know. We love doing these kind of Franken bikes. So yeah, thanks for watching. Good luck this season at Sea Otter and the rest of the Lifetime Grand Prix. And yeah, thanks for joining us, Cam.
Hey, thank you. Yeah. Oh no. Sorry.